Good day everybody and welcome to Herman's house. In today's video we are trying to answer the question, how many sea forts can you raid with just a rowboat? To answer that question we first had to acquire a rowboat, and we happened to do so at the Crow's Nest Fortress. This rowboat right here will be our companion all through the video as we try to keep it afloat and not get it shot out of the water. Once this rowboat was released of his little pond and pushed out to sea, all we had to do was plot a course and get rid of our main ship. The plan was to island hop on our way towards the sea fortress that we wanted to raid, all the while just navigating on our compass alone. So we plotted a course to Barnacle Cay and then hop over to Mercy's End Fortress. But not before we destroyed our ship, so we would not be tempted to return to it. This seemed like a solid plan, until my crewmate got stuck under the rowboat, black screened, and respawned over at the new ship. As the new ship was a long ways out, and we were both excited to get started on this new challenge of ours, we decided that it would be best if I just go on ahead and he would simply catch up. As we were pretty far from our destination, I decided to speed up some bits of this footage, so you can still see me roll, but do not have to sit through the entire hour of it. Eventually my crewmate managed to catch up to me and rejoin me on our rowboat. But not before we got rid of the ship again. With the new ship gone and our crew finally reunited, we decided it was high time to make our way to the first fortress. As we lost so much time already, we decided it would be best to just simply skip the first island and make our way straight for the fortress and take it for all the riches that it has to offer. As soon as we approached the first fortress, we could already see the ghosts being active, and we assume that a crew came before us and activated the fortress, as its ghostly captain was already waiting for us to welcome us in. This particular rowboat came equipped with a cannon, but as we soon find out that shooting the cannon from this rowboat also damages the rowboat, so we decided not to use that again. Instead, we tried to maneuver the rowboat over to the loading docks, both to keep it safe from potential threats coming our way, but also to try and unload the treasure much more easily once we got our hands on it. But before we could get our hands on that lovely treasure, we first needed to take care of this captain over here. We made our way onto the fortress, shot down a couple of the ghosts, and eventually took down the captain itself. With the captain gone and the key in hand, we made our way over to the treasury to collect that sweet treasure within and make it our own. With our main ship gone, we had to rely on the map in these fortresses to navigate over to the next one. And from there, once the treasure was loaded up, we decided to have a quick look and see where to head next. Our eye fell on the next fortress in the northeastern part of the map, called Trader's Edge Fortress. There were many islands on the way there that we could navigate by and also try to hop on for more treasure and food. But still we had a long ways to go and many waves to row. We carefully maneuvered our ship outside of the fortress and decided to take turns rowing and navigating the compass. When we got to the first island, Shark Tooth Key, we decided to just quickly hop on and take it for all that it's worth. Unfortunately, not a lot of treasure was found, and we only had to deal with a couple of unruly skeletons that were trying to be in our way. We quickly got back on board and headed on to the next island. The second island that was on our way to Trader's Edge Fortress was called Shiver Retreat. We were still hoping to find a little bit more treasure, as generally speaking these fortresses do not hold a lot of loot, and we instantly saw something shiny on the beach alongside some skeletons. We made quick work of these skeletons and decided to check out the shiny bit that caught our eye in the first place. As it turns out, it was a trident of dark tides. We decided to take it with us, as it could prove useful in the fights up ahead. We quickly made one more run across the island and loaded up a few tiny bits of treasure, and also found a storage chest, which would make it a lot easier for us to stock up on cannonballs and food to protect us with. The third island on our way there happened to be called Tri Rock Isle. Pure coincidence, mind you. Now the island didn't have much to offer in terms of treasure, but we just picked up what little resources were there and decided to plod our way on to the next destination. As we were closing in on the next fortress, a wave knocked my crewmate off the rowboat. Unfortunately, as he was trying to get back onto the rowboat, he again black screened and the game decided to respawn him on yet another new ship. Looks like I'm about to face the next fortress by myself. While I was still contemplating to wait for my crewmate to join me, I decided to quickly have a look in this shipwreck that was just off the edge of the fortress. I did manage to find a little bit of loot and another trident that could aid us in the battles up ahead, so I decided to take those with me and just give the fortress a try. Much like before, I tried to maneuver the rowboat in such a way that would allow us to easily unload the treasure once we empty the treasury. I figured, as I'm facing this one alone, a trident could help me out and balance the scales a bit. I just cleared the landing pad, got on the ladder, and made my way up there. The battle that follows has been sped up because it was quite lengthy. Being by myself, it was difficult to keep all the ghosts off me whilst trying to heal up between waves. As I couldn't afford to die on this fortress, as it would respawn me simply on the other ship, I did my best to stay alive and stay out of their ways. I had a couple of close calls, not gonna lie. Eventually, as I fought my way through the waves of ghosts, it was almost time for the captain of the fortress to appear. You can imagine, while I was having this fight and almost dying a couple of times, all the while my crewmate was trying to get to me as fast as he could in order to help me out. Again, I had a couple of close calls, but as the waves became more and more, so did the captain get closer and closer. The final battle was just upon us. The captain spawned in with quite a few phantoms, and I decided to grab the trident in one last effort to withstand that barrage of attacks that kept coming my way. As I fell down another level, I decided to charge up the trident to its full potential and releasing it upon the captain as soon as he exited the room. This finished off all the remaining phantoms. With the captain's key at my feet, all I had to do is grab it and empty out the treasury while waiting for my crewmate to join me again. While we were cleaning out the treasury, we discussed the idea of leaving the newly spawned ship over at this fortress in case we would get black screened again, just so we didn't have to travel all that far again. Our next destination was one close to Sanctuary Outpost. The fortress there was the Royal Crest Fortress and would be our final fortress of the day. The various islands on our way there could potentially give us more treasure and supplies to sell off at the next outpost. It was time to take turns again, rowing and navigating the ship as we made our way to the next destination. The next island we would reach is called Plunderous Plight and did offer a bit more resistance in the shape of some sea critters that spawned in alongside a skeleton captain. When we finally finished off the captain, we naturally took his skull and added it to our hoard. After a quick nab of some supplies, we made our way over to the next one. While we were rowing and traveling, we started to discuss whether or not it was worth our time to keep hopping onto these islands, as they provided us with very little treasure and the resources we needed to maintain our rowboat were very little. Naturally, we didn't need any planks to repair it, nor did we need cannonballs, as those would simply damage our own rowboat. We did decide to have a quick look over at Sharkfin Camp. And even though it didn't have much to offer in terms of treasure, it did give us 3 gunpowder kegs. Normally we would decide to leave them, but in this case we figured they might just come in handy somewhere down the line. And we were right. With these explosive barrels carefully loaded on our rowboat, we made our way to the final fortress. We skipped out on an island that we met up in between, because it just simply didn't seem worth the risk of getting hit with a stray cannonball whilst exploring for a couple of pieces of fruit. As we finally approached Royal Crest Fortress, my crewmate decided to infiltrate the island and open up the gate to the loading dock, so we could easily dock there right away. Again, we had to be extremely careful not to be shot with a stray bullet that would accidentally set off our explosive barrels. We fought our way through the waves of phantoms and eventually got met up with the captain again. We made quick work of him with some swords and pistols. As always, we grabbed the key and made our way over to the treasury, quickly making sure that we unload every bit of valuable onto our rowboat and leave no gold behind. Once we ensured that all the valuables were actually on our ship, we carefully made our way over to Sanctuary Outpost. As by the unwritten rule of Sea of Thieves, saying that no treasure is truly yours until you sold it, we were anxious to make our way there and make sure that this treasure would indeed be ours. Now it seems we got extremely lucky that we did not run into any other enemy ships. But it seems to us as well that if you have enough time on your hands to row your way over to these fortresses, you could easily clear out all the fortresses that are on the map and take the treasure for your own, using nothing but a rowboat. After 2 black screens, 3 fortresses, and over 2 hours of rowing, we decided it was high time to collect our earnings. Now obviously there are way more profitable endeavors that will net you a lot more treasure somewhere on the Sea of Thieves, but this was so much fun to do, and definitely a challenge. We didn't bother to count all the treasure chests and skulls, but it did net us a little bit of gold. And at the end of the day, we were a little bit richer than when the day started. We quickly made sure to sell off all loot at the appropriate selling points, but also decided to hang on to the 3 explosive kegs, which will be used to take down a formidable enemy in the next video. More on that in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it and subscribing to the channel for more content. I'm hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers before the year is over, and your support would be greatly appreciated. For now, thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Bye bye.